Hello folks, Ram Ram ji. Christmas is coming. May I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, in case I forget later. I thought I'd wish you in advance to take away the element of surprise. We got two interesting topics today, both based around Rahul Gandhi, and now Priyanka Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi, and George Soros. It's a very sorry state of affairs, I'm afraid. First, let's see. There's a lot of controversy today about Mr. Rahul Gandhi's citizenship. A couple of years ago, and this had been dragging on for quite a while, Dr. Subramanian Swamy floated a message on a sheet of paper that Rahul Gandhi had claimed in a tax return to the British government that he was company director or company secretary of a company called Backups in the UK, where he had stated specifically that he was a British national, which means a citizen of Great Britain. Now that creates quite a few problems. On that is also two addresses. One, the company's address, and the second, where it was registered, that is, and the second is private residence. Well, if he is a British national, how did he become an Indian Member of Parliament? Because the moment he becomes a British national, automatically his Indian citizenship is revoked. He ceases to be an Indian citizen. As an OCI, or Overseas Citizen of India, he may not represent any constituency. It is not permissible. Dual or twin nationality is not permissible under Indian law. So how is he a Member of Parliament? If he is a Member of Parliament, one, he has lied to the Election Commission saying that he is a citizen of India. On the form it says so. Two, as a non-citizen of India, how is he contesting the election, winning or losing, doesn't matter. How did he become a Member of Parliament? He has no business being in Parliament. But that also means perjury, because he is sworn to protect and defend and implement the Constitution of India. Why? How? And he has taken that oath as a citizen of India and as a Member of Parliament in India. None of these terms apply. How did he get there? What a con job. Just think about that. A foreign national is a Member of Parliament in India. Now we come to Mrs. Sonia Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi. Both of them will have known that that Rahul Gandhi is not a citizen of India. And if he is not, and they knew about it, they are accessories before the fact. And they are definitely accessories after the fact. They are also guilty of concealing evidence. Therefore, they are also guilty. Their membership of either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha should be revoked immediately. And they should be charged. More important is this. As a Member of Parliament, and now as a leader of the opposition, he has access. Well, he had access under the UPA government. You get all sorts of information from different committees, different ministries, like the Defence Ministry, the Foreign Affairs Ministry, Industrial Development, all sorts of ministries. Anywhere he could go in and get whatever information he wanted. Finance, for instance. Who is he collecting all this information for? For instance, he was known to go to the Chinese embassy during our conflict in Doklam. Was he passing information there? When he goes to the border area, he gets a good glimpse of all our defenses there. Who was he passing it on to? The Chinese? Is that what his agreement from 2008 with the Chinese Communist Party on behalf of the Congress Party of India, is that what it entails? Passing on sensitive information. You see, in August, September, he was in the US. Where? One of the places he spent a lot of time was the SST, a training establishment where the CIA recruits 50 to 60% of its agents. What was he doing? Getting trained in how to extract information and pass it on? You see, if he's a foreign national, who is he passing this information to? The CIA? MI6? The Chinese government? Or the Chinese Communist Party? Or is he passing it on to George Soros? In any case, this is not what he should have access to. How did he get there? Now, another piece of information on that same piece of paper which Dr. Subramaniam Swamy had circulated. It was on WhatsApp. He claimed to be a British national, secretary, company secretary or director of Back Ops, a company registered in the UK. Bottom right hand corner of that was his residential address in the UK, in London. What did it say? It said 2 Frognall Way. Now that little place, I know years ago, only had about 5 houses in Frognall Way, maybe 6. It's not just the fact that it has a beautiful view from there. I know in the old days you could see clear through from Hampstead to Battersea Power Station on a clear day. It gives you a good idea how expensive that property would be. Hey, where did he get the money to buy that? But the real significance is something else. Who lives in the house next door? That is number 3 Frognall Way. A lot of people in India, especially the External Affairs Ministry, would know that 3 Frognall Way, or rather the house next door, is also known as Sun House, address 3 Frognall Way. It is the official residence of India's Deputy High Commissioner in London. Very convenient, isn't it? He doesn't even have to go to the main road to enter that house. He can go down the back way. Why? Because number 1, 2 and 3 Frognall Way share a little lawn at the back. Why would he want that particular address? To gather all sorts of sensitive information by throwing his weight around from the Deputy High Commissioner in London, India's Deputy High Commissioner. More espionage. You see, the fact that he's a foreign national makes him a foreign agent or a spy. Espionage. Selling information about our defense capabilities, our attack capabilities, where our patrols are, what do we have, what sort of equipment do we have on our borders, and so on. How is this man allowed access to all this? Not just directly, but also via the Deputy High Commissioner in London. Of course, he can get it all from here, but not surreptitiously, which he can do in London. Now you understand the full significance. Not only should he not be a member of parliament, but thanks to his family connections and so on, and the fact that he's an MP, he now has access to all sorts of information he has no business having access to. What is he doing? Selling information? Where did he get the money to buy that house in London? Hampstead is a very exclusive area, a very expensive one. £500,000 is not a joke. Where did he get it from? Anything he has touched has been a failure, business-wise. So where did he get the money from? Yes, I know. A whole lot of people, including the Congress party, have been looting this country of ours, and nobody cares. So as I said, where is he sending this information to? Who is he sharing it with? It's something we must find out. The authorities must find out. Because this is very, very sensitive indeed. Now you see, the power they wield. Priyanka Gandhi has just become a member of parliament from Wayanad. One of her first acts. You remember a couple of years ago, whenever you had assembly elections in Karnataka state, Amul was going to start marketing in Karnataka in competition with their local cooperative brand, Nandini. And the Congress party went berserk. BJP government or Amit Shah and with this plan, they lost out. And Congress came to power. Now Nandini, being a business-oriented cooperative, have realized that, okay, with milk you can only go so far. It's a well-known brand in Karnataka. In fact, it was Nandini who was providing ghee, pure ghee, cow ghee, to Tirupati Devasthanam for their prasad or prasadam, which was taken away by the Telangana government or the Andhra Pradesh government and given to somebody else. Hence this mixed up with, animal fat going into that ghee. But this Nandini decided that in January 25, making use of their brand image, they were going to diversify and start marketing idli and dosa batter. And knowing their, how shall I put it, network and their reputation, it would have done well. So, a gentleman in Kerala, a family business, who already market batter in Kerala, got hold of Priyanka Gandhi to look, how can you stop this? Now she goes along to the Chief Minister in Karnataka, Mr. Siddaramaiah, and tell them, look, how can you get Nandini to stop this? What did they do? They leaned on the Karnataka State Cooperative Dairy Federation or Milk Producers Union to stop it and shelve all such plans. And the man responsible for it, I think his name is Mr. Jagdish, he's been removed from there. Surreptitiously, quietly, no fanfare, no news, and yet he's been removed from there. That is the news I have received from a pretty reliable source. And don't ask me who or where, I have received that information. Already throwing her weight around? Now see the power of a member of parliament, how they interfere in everything. And Rahul Gandhi isn't even an Indian national apparently. So what's he doing here? Now the moment, if this is proven, and I think the British government has acknowledged that he is a British subject or British citizen, A, his Indian citizenship will be revoked. B, he will cease to be a member of parliament, forget being a leader of the opposition. he will have to serve 2 years imprisoned as per that conviction in Gujarat, or Surat I think it was, in Gujarat. And he would have to stand trial for the National Herald scam, after which, whatever happens, he will be deported, which means he should never be able to come back to India. Now you understand the seriousness of that. Apart from anything else, he will also be charged as a foreign espionage agent, a spy for foreign powers. And that is very serious indeed. Now we come to the other half. The family connections. George Soros. Sonia Gandhi's connection with George Soros goes back a long way, as far back as 1994, that we know of. She was a co-chairperson of, FDL, Asia Pacific region? What is that? The Forum for Democratic Leaders, Asia Pacific. Who was the other co-chairperson? Aung San Suu Kyi. Remember Myanmar or Burma, the one who won that election, now in prison on corruption charges? Another Nobel laureate. Significant. You remember Muhammad Yunus, Bangladesh, another Nobel laureate. You remember Amartya Sen, another Nobel laureate. Why? All these manipulated into that particular elite group. Nobel laureates, they must know something, so they should be part of the government of India, government of Bangladesh, government of Myanmar. You remember why this FDL was set up? By George Soros. Oh yes, it's financed by George Soros. And a good chunk may be coming from the State Department. Why? To set up friendly governments friendly to the US, which means the US should be allowed to loot, pillage and plunder these countries. Bangladesh, Myanmar and India. Now the strange thing is this. Somebody sent me recently one photograph where 4 people are together. Fazal Hassan, Muhammad Yunus, Amartya Sen and George Soros. Now what are these two doing with Muhammad Yunus? George Soros and Amartya Sen. Do remember, George Soros also runs an NGO, Open Society Foundation. Who are on the advisory panel of that? Well, one name does stick out, Amartya Sen. And you see, unfortunately for all that crowd or that group, one name for once has appeared in that group. With one of the other advisors on that advisory panel at the Open Society Foundation, is Mrs. Amartya Sen. What was she before she became Mrs. Amartya Sen? Look it up, you'll find her name was Emma Georgina Rothschild. Wow. Now you understand the Amartya Sen connection, the George Soros connection, and the Rothschild connection with the UPA government. If you remember the UPA government around 2007, was it, or 2008, virtually commissioned Amartya Sen to restore Nalanda University to its former glory. No holds barred, carte blanche, spend what you like, no questions asked. He spent about 2,740 or 50 crores. What you see there is hardly worth 50 crores. Where's the rest of the 2,700 crores? Where did it go? Interestingly, Manmohan Singh's youngest daughter, Amrit Singh, is still working fairly high up at the Open Society Foundation in the US. You're beginning to get the net. And why is it happening? Now we come back to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. You remember what I'd said in February, almost 3 years ago? March 2022. Shortly after this conflict started. It's not just about Ukraine, it's about American hegemony of the US dollar over world trade. You see, people don't realize, even today they haven't realized, why is the US dollar the only reserve currency in the world? This is like converting the whole world into an American colony, where you have to use American currency, none other. Any world trade, you have to use dollars, US dollars. Why? Why can't I use rupees? Why can't I trade with the UK in pounds sterling, or with Western Europe in euros, or with Russia in rubles? Why? Why should I have to buy dollars? Because every time we buy dollars, the US gets a commission. It does. Let's face it. Which means the USA considers the whole world as its colony. And this is a frightening aspect, that we can't do anything without the US agreeing to it. Now, if that isn't colonialism, what on earth is it? Now you understand why Donald Trump, the president-elect of the US, has threatened anybody who goes in for BRICS currency, that there will be 100% tariffs and this and that and all sorts of sanctions against anybody who goes in for that. Because he doesn't want to lose that colonial grip over the world. And the world doesn't like it. That's why it's moving away. Another anti-colonial movement is what BRICS is all about, which is what they're trying to stop. And how do they do it? You remember the old man, Mayor Amschel Rothschild, in the 1780s. There was a film about that in the 1950s, I think, the Rothschild story. A very, very telling statement in that. Old man, Mayor Amschel Rothschild, had said in the 1780s, give me the power over a nation's money, and I don't give a damn who makes its laws. You give me the power over their money, I will control that country. It becomes my colony. The US is a Rothschild colony. Why? Because the US Federal Reserve is not owned by the US government. It is owned by a group of private bankers. And who has the controlling interest? The Rothschilds. They print American dollars. Every dollar spent by the US is a loan which carries an interest charge. That is why the American debt keeps increasing every year. It never decreases. The only time that the American debt was wiped out was somewhere in the 1830s, when the Federal Reserve had lapsed. It no longer existed. Think about that. Now, as they own the dollar, I mean the Rothschilds, it means if the whole world deals only with the US dollar, they control the whole world. You understand now why Rahul Gandhi is trying so desperately to become an agent of Soros. Who is an agent for the Rothschilds? Remember I said Mrs. Amartya Sen is on the Open Society Foundation advisory panel. And she was a Rothschild. She is a Rothschild. And she is the eldest in the Rothschild family London branch, or the London Rothschild banking family branch. She is the eldest in that one. Think about that. Once the whole world is taken over by the US dollar, the Rothschilds own the world. Because every dollar you and I spend has to go through their banks. And they own most of the banks. Now you understand the hue and cry over the Adanis. Because they want their agents to take over Adani's. Why? Bring down the price, buy it up cheap, then push up prices. So that nobody else will buy. Well, they won't sell it. Why? Adanis are into the core of Indian industry. Power generation, power distribution, mining, airports, seaports. It is the guts of India. You control that, you start controlling India. And this is what Rahul Gandhi is trying so hard to destroy, in conjunction with George Soros and monsters like Hindenburg Group. And whoever, and who's this? Yes, OCCRP, RP is it? Or RC? You know, the people who brought out this thing about this corruption via Adani into Indian states. All opposition states, mind you. And the indictment in New York County Court. Who's behind it? George Soros. George Soros has spent a lot of money in buying judges, in financing the political ambitions of so many of these judges and district attorneys and so on in so many different counties, so that his nominees appoint judges favorable to him, which is the Democrat Party. And so many Democrats are so indebted to him. You understand what's happening. And Rahul Gandhi wants to rule India as an agent of Soros, which means an agent of the Rothschilds. Why do I say that? Well, you look, how did George Soros begin? Where did he make his first pile of money? Where did he make it? The Colombian drug cartels. He laundered their money into white through the banking system. Now, if he does it through the banking system, the Rothschilds are involved. They own most of the major banks. You cannot do it without them. Next, he almost destroyed the British pound in the 1990s. How? Speculation. Who financed him? The billions needed for that. Where would he get the loan from? Rothschild. Nobody else has that kind of money. So you understand the Rothschild connection behind all this. But this time it has come out too close. And, how shall I put it? The beans are there for everybody to see. And if you still don't understand it, then I feel sorry for all of you. Because you're all in your Rip Van Winkle type slumber. Wake up. Understand what on earth is going on. And as long as you have that Congress party and this particular family, which, if Rahul Gandhi is a foreign national, is proven to be a spy agency. If you still want to vote for that family, well, then all I can say is you are slaves and you are fast asleep. You don't want to wake up. Now, one other small point. Bangladesh is in turmoil, yes. Notice all the disturbances going on all over India. You remember when Rahul Gandhi was in US, August, September? Farmers' leaders were in the US embassy at 2 a.m. in the morning, all shrouded up and, faces covered and so on. Now you understand what was happening, what was being planned. The farmers' agitation started again in December, a few days ago. You have, Sambal Mosque? Does it come under the Places of Worship Act, 1991? Or is it the property of the ASI? Because if it comes under the ASI, Places of Worship Act does not apply. They can survey it, the ASI can survey it as many times as they want. Nobody has any right to stop it. Then you have Barrage. It's significant. Rahul Gandhi wants to go to Sambal when there is a section 144 in place. But the guy never goes to Barrage when a Hindu is been brutally tortured and murdered. He doesn't want to visit that place. No. Why? You remember, he's a Muslim sympathizer. Which is why I still believe he is not a Hindu, he is a Muslim. He cannot be anything else. That's why his heart bleeds for people in Gaza. But not a word about the problems Hindus are facing in Bangladesh. Not a word about the persecution of Hindus in Bangladesh. Only Gaza or Sambal with a few Muslim kids. What were the kids doing in there? They get killed. As will happen. If you start stoning the police or firing country-made pistols at them, they will fire back. There's no getting away from it. They're not going to take it lying down. So, who pushed those kids in there? Why were children in there in the first place? You thought you'd get away with it? I'm sorry, no. Once the police get angry and they see somebody pointing a pistol at them, they will fire back. They're not going to be cannon fodder. And don't expect it. Anyway, folks, try and understand what I'm trying to tell you. There's an undercurrent somewhere. The Open Society Foundation is something that should be stamped out of this country. So should people, influential monsters like George Soros, and anti-national people like Rahul Gandhi, or people who are not even Indian citizens. What are they doing in Parliament? You see, even Dr. Subramanian Swamy missed this, that the guy has a house right next door to the Indian Deputy High Commissioner in London. How easy it is for him to get information surreptitiously without anybody knowing. Just by throwing his weight around, he's an MP in India. How did he get there? Why? Didn't anybody bother to check? And when you do, why does it take so long to prove it? All you have to do is to go ask the UK government. Go into Somerset House, find out. Go to where their records are, find out from there. It shouldn't have taken them more than 2 months. If that. Why didn't they? Why is it dragging on for so long? Unless, of course, being an absolute, sorry to use the term, jackass, they want him to make a fool of himself. Anyway, have a look, think about all this. It's not a joke anymore. When you got people like George Soros involved, the CIA is not far away. And you know these connections with Sonia Gandhi for decades. Rahul Gandhi also has, if you remember, a case against him in the US, Boston. Remember, he was caught shortly after 9/11, 2001, September 28th or 29th, with about $200,000 in cash in his hand baggage. He should have been serving a 40-year prison term in the US as a result. Where did that money come from? That drug money? Well, knowing their connection with George Soros, it might have been. We don't know. Think about it, folks. Think about what I've said in this one. This is a very, very serious one. Because all these disturbances are testing the waters in India. Sambal, Baraj, problems, with the Waqf board in the south, in Kerala, 30,000 acres, Karnataka, 15,000 acres. Now, Maharashtra, 100 farmers, about 300 or 400 acres there. Andhra Pradesh, they've occupied 1,200 acres. There's another 1,000 acres being occupied in UP. They're just taking everything up. They're trying to see, what are Hindus doing? Are they getting angry? Are they getting angry enough to explode and say, no way, you're not having this? Why is the government so weak that they keep referring the amendments to the Waqf Act 1995 to a JPC? They said this particular session of Parliament. Now they put it back to the end of the budget session, which will be the end of February now. Why? Is the Hindu population that fast asleep? Is the government of India that fast asleep? They don't want to take action? Bangladesh and all these disturbances, are Hindus prepared to act? Are non-Muslims prepared to act? That includes Christians, whose lands have been taken over by the Waqf Act, or Waqf Board, sorry. Questions like, what is the Waqf Board doing in this country? Why is there such a thing? It doesn't exist in any Muslim country. Land grab, love jihad, and all these things which should not be allowed. You find it, crack down on it hard, really hard. Send a clear message to them. You don't do this sort of thing here. And you see, Rahul Gandhi is found guilty of all these things like espionage and so on. He should be deported, which means he should never be allowed to come into this country again. That's what deportation means. I know this is a long one, but please think about this very carefully. It's a very important one. Well, folks, think about this, pass it on to your friends, let them think about it, talk it over among yourselves. Because this concerns our future and our future generations. Do we want to continue being an American or now a Rothschild colony thanks to the US dollar? Or maybe explain to Mr. Trump, look, stop all this nonsense. Let us deal in our own currencies. We're not American colonies, and I don't think we want to be one. So as I said, pass it on. The threat of total colonialism is very real. Don't let it back in. We've only just got one lot out. Ciao, Merry Christmas and have a very Happy New Year.